So I took my 30 minutes break. Now I'm back to it. Let's drink some water and get back to this. Alright, so which is considered a good practice concerning the inspection of heating and exhaust system of aircraft utilizing a jacket around the engine exhaust as a heat source. Supplemental physical inspection, the SPI, with periodic operational carbon monoxide detection tests. Supplemental physical inspection with period of operational carbon monoxide detection tests. Let's get our hour back on our clock. Keep going. Which statement is true with respect to an aircraft equipped with hydraulically operated multi-disc type brake assembly? Do not set the parking brakes when the brakes are hot. Which statement is true with respect to the aircraft equipped with hydraulically operated multi-disc type brakes? Do not set the brakes when do not set the parking brakes when the brakes are hot. A filter incorporating a special treated cellulose paper is identified as micronic filter. A micronic filter is a specially treated cellulose paper. A hydraulic packing seals. The hydraulic packing seals used in landing gear shock struts are used only with a specified type of fluid. The hydraulic packing seals used in landing gear shock struts are used with specific type of fluid. The shielding gases generally used in the gas tungsten arc welding of aluminum consist of helium argon or a mixture of helium and argon. Helium or argon or a mixture of helium and argon. When selecting hardware for attaching bonding connections to the aircraft structure, which of the following should be considered? Mechanical strength, ease of installation, the amount of current to be carried. When selecting hardware for attaching bonding connection to the aircraft structure, which of the following should be considered? Mechanical strength, ease of installation, and the amount of current to be carried. A battery generator system provides direct current. On installation requiring alternating current from the battery generator system, it is necessary to have a battery generator system provide direct current. On installation requiring alternating current from the battery generator system, it is necessary to have maybe a inverter. Mhm. So I got that one right. So a battery generator system provides direct current. An installation requiring alternating current from the battery. The generator system From the battery generator system, it is necessary to have an inverter. The length of time a catalyzed resin will remain in workable state is called the pot life. The length of time that a catalyzed resin will remain in a workable state is called the pot life. What is the main cause of contamination in a gaseous oxygen system? Moisture. The function of the evaporator in the freon cooling system is to The function of the evaporator in the let me see, lower the temperature of the cabin air. Oh, okay. The function of the evaporator in a freon cooling system, lower the temperature of the cabin air. The left brake is dragging excessively on the airplane, on which no recent brake service work has been performed. The left brake is dragging excessively on the airplane on which no recent brake servicing work has been performed. The most probable cause is foreign particles stuck in the master cylinder compensating port. The left brake is dragging excessively on the airplane on which no recent brake service work has been performed. The most probable cause is foreign particle stuck in the master cylinder compensating port. What is normally used to bond non-continuous stainless steel aircraft components? What is normally used to bond non-continuous stainless steel aircraft components? To bond non-continuous stainless steel. To bond non-continuous stainless steel aircraft component. Copper jumpers. Copper jumpers. Let's go. What is the condition of the refrigerant as it enters the evaporator of the vapor cycle cooling system? What is the condition of the refrigerant as it enters the evaporator of the vapor cycle cooling system? So when it's leaving the evaporator, let's see. The refrigeration in the vapor cycle cooling system leaves the receiver dryer as high pressure liquid. Its pressure is dropped to low pressure liquid as it passes through the thermal expansion valve. From the thermal expansion valve, the low pressure liquid enters the evaporator's coil. As it passes through the evaporator, it absorbs heat from the cabin airflow over the coils and changes it into a low pressure vapor. Low pressure vapor. Which rivets is used for riveting nickel steel alloy? Which rivet is used nickel steel alloy? Monel. Monel is used for riveting nickel steel alloy. The purpose of a subcooler in a vapor cycle cooling system is to a subcooler is used to cool the freon to prevent premature vaporization. Purpose of a subcooler in a vapor cycle cooling system is to cool the freon to prevent premature vaporization. The fuel system must be designed to prevent fuel vapor ignition caused by lightning. Determine what unit is located immediately downstream of the expansion valve in the freon refrigeration system. Determine what unit is located immediately downstream of the expansion valve in the freon refrigerating the evaporator coils. What depth is the mica insulation between the commutator bars of a DC generator undercut? To what depth is the mica insulation between the commutator bars of the DC generator undercut? Equal to the width of the mica. Equal to the width of the mica. What physical factors are involved in the aspect ratio of the airplane wing? Span and chord. What physical factors are involved in the aspect ratio of the airplane wings, span, and chord? How should the welding torch flame be adjusted to weld stainless steel? How should the welding torch flame be adjusted to weld stainless steel? Take it in there. When it comes to stainless steel, should be slightly carburizing. SC. Slightly carburizing stainless steel. Which of the following copper electrical cables sizes should be selected to replace a number 6 aluminum electrical cable? The number 6. In the diluter demand oxygen regulator, when does the demand valve operate? Whenever the user breathes. In the diluter demand oxygen regulator, when does the demand valve operate? When the user breathes. A worn hydraulic pump shaft seal can normally be detected by hydraulic fluid flowing from the pump drain line. A worn hydraulic pump shaft seal can normally be detected by hydraulic fluid flowing from the pump drain line. A common cause of slow activation of the hydraulic component is internal leakage in the activating unit. Internal leakage in activating unit. The coefficient of expansion on most plastic enclosures material is greater than both steel and aluminum. The coefficient expansion of most plastic extra enclosure materials is greater than both steel and aluminum. One purpose of free-wheeling unit requires between the engine and the helicopter transmission is to automatically disengage the rotor from the engine in case of engine failure. Automatically disengage rotor from the engine in case of engine failure. What is the free wheeling unit required between the engine and the helicopter? Automatically disengage the rotor from the engine in case of engine failure. What are the 4 general types of fuel quantity gauges? Sight glass, mechanical, electrical, electronic. What are the 4 general types of fuel quantity gauges? Sight glass, mechanical, electrical, electronic. A hydraulic pump is a constant displacement type if it is a constant displacement type if it delivers a uniform rate of fluid flow. A hydraulic pump is a constant displacement type if it delivers a uniform rate of fluid flow. Aircraft pressure fueling system instructional procedures are normally placarded on fuel control panel access door. Fuel control panel access door. Aircraft pressure fueling system instructional procedures are normally placarded on the fuel control panel access door. Fuel control panel access door. When adding a rheostat to a light circuit to control the light intensity, it should be connected series with the light. When adding rheostat to a light circuit to control the light intensity, It should be connected series with the light. There are three basic types of DC motors: series, shunt, and compound. There are three basic types of DC motors: series, shunt, and compound. In the series motor, the field winding consists of relatively few turns of heavy wire are connected in series with the armature winding. The best safeguard against heat buildup in aircraft tires are sharp ground rules. The best safeguard against heat buildup in aircraft tires are short ground rules, slow taxi speed, minimum braking, and proper tire inflation. The best safeguard against heat buildup in aircraft tires are short ground rules, slow taxi speed, minimum braking, and proper tire inflation. Acetylene at line pressure above 15 psi is dangerously unstable. The dihedral angle of the wing may be measured by placing a straight edge and a lever protractor on the front spar. Front spar. I think that's also called a retreat. The dihedral angle of the aircraft wing is usually measured by placing a straight edge on the surface of the wing along its front spar and measure the angle of the spar relative to the horizon. As shown with bubble protractor, the rear spar is not used because if there is a twist in the wing, it should not be given a true indication. It would not give the true indication of dihedral. So that's front spar, straight edge, and lever protractor. If all instructions issued by a swagging tool manufacturer are followed, when swagged a cable terminal, the resultant speed terminal strength should be the full rated strength of the cable. If all instructions issued by the swagging tool manufacturers are followed, the swagging cable terminal, a resultant swag terminal strength should be the full rated strength of the cable. What non-destructive checking method is normally used to ensure that the correct amount of swagging has taken place when installing a swag type terminal on aircraft control cable? What non-destructive checking method is normally used to ensure that the correct amount of swagging has taken place when install swag type of terminal on aircraft control cable? Use a terminal gauge to cause use a terminal gauge to check the diameter of the swag portion of the terminal. Use a terminal gauge to check the diameter of the swag portion of the terminal. Use a terminal gauge to check the diameter of the swag portion of the terminal. Let's mark this one. If a rigging tube is too short for the flare to reach its seat before tightening, pulling it into place may distort the flare. If a rigid tube is used, rigid tube is to wait. If a rigid tube is too short for a flare to reach its seat before tightening, pulling into place may distort the flare. A fuel pressure relief valve is required on an airplane. Wait. A fuel pressure relief valve is required on an aircraft positive displacement fuel pump. The fuel pressure relief valve is required on an aircraft positive displacement fuel pump. A fuel pressure relief valve is required on an aircraft positive displacement fuel pump. What is the ratio of turns between the primary coil windings and the secondary windings of a transformer designed to triple its input voltage? What is the ratio between the primary coil winding and the secondary coil winding? The primary will have 1/3 as many turns as the secondary. The primary will have 1/3 as many turns as the secondary. When using voltage drop method for checking circuit resistance, the input voltage must maintain a constant value. Get up. When using a voltage drop method, of checking circuit resistance, the input voltage must maintain a constant value. The primary online agent of a 2024 T3 is indicated by the number 2. Aircraft structural units such as spars, engine support, etc., which have been built up from sheet metal, are normally repairable using approved methods. Aircraft structural units such as spars, engine supports, etc., have been built up from sheet metals, are normally repairable using approved methods. Which of the following must be accomplished when installing an anti-collision light? Install the switch independent of the position light switch. Install a switch independent of the position light switch. A category of plastic material that is capable of softening or flowing when reheated is called thermoplastic. A category of plastic that is capable of softening or flowing when reheated is described as thermoplastic. When bending metal, the materials on the outside of the curve stretches while the material on the inside of the curve compress. The material which is not affected by either stress is the neutral line. Oxygen used in the aircraft system. Oxygen used in the aircraft system is at least 99.5 pure and is practically water-free. Oxygen used in the aircraft system is at least 99.5% pure and is practically water-free. Hot compressor bleed air operates the conditioned air system on some turbine aircraft. Cold air supplied by the hot compressor bleed air operates the conditioned air system on some turbine aircraft. Cold air supplied by the cold air supplied by the what the freak? Heat exchanger? Hot compressor bleed air operates a conditioned air system on some turbine aircraft. Cold air is supplied by the air cycle air condition. Air cycle air condition. Air cycle air condition. In the electronic type fuel quantity indicating system, the tank unit the tank sensing unit is a capacitor. In the electronic type fuel quantity indicating system, the tank sensing unit is a capacitor. Hydraulic fluid reservoirs are sometimes designed with a standpipe in order of the outlet ports in order to assure emergency supply of fluid. The outlet port with a standpipe in it furnishes fluid to the normal system power pump. The fluid reservoir are sometimes designed with standpipe in order. Oh my god. Hydraulic fluid reservoir are sometimes designed with a standpipe in one of the outlet port in order to assure emergency supply of fluid. The outlet port with the standpipe in it furnish fluid to the normal system power pump. Normal system power pump. If a new safety belt is to be installed in the aircraft, the belt must conform to the strength requirement in which document? The TSO C22. The TSO C22. A transmitter in the fuel pressure warning system serves what function? A transmitter in the fuel pressure warning system serves what function? A transmitter in the fuel pressure warning system serves what function? Convert fluid pressure to an electrical signal. A transmitter in a fuel pressure warning system serves what function? Converts fluid pressure to an electrical signal. When inspection... Yes, Lord, I'm ready to pass this test. I can feel it. When inspecting a fuel system, you should check all the valves located downstream of the boost pumps with the pumps operating. Aircraft, let's read that again for you. When inspecting the fuel system, you should check all the valves located downstream the boost pumps with the pumps operating. Aircraft flight control trim system must be designed and installed so that the aircraft control flight trim system must be designed and installed so that the pilot can determine the relative position of the trim tab from the cockpit. Which instruction shown the correct spiral for Teflon backup rings? Which illustration show the correct spiral for Teflon backup rings? 1 and 3. 1 and 3. To be eligible for recharging a .3HT oxygen cylinder must be hydraulically tested every 3 years. What's it saying? To be eligible for recharging A .3HT oxygen cylinder must have been hydraulically tested every 3 years and be retired from service after 24 years or fourth. So that's a 3HT, not the standard. The 3HT is not the standard one. Am I mixing this up? To be eligible for recharging, a DOT 3HT oxygen cylinder must have been hydraulically tested every 3 years and be retired from service after 24 years and 4,380 filling cycle. Let me mark this one because I know there's another question. I might be mixing it up. The piece of flat stock that has been bent to a close angle of 15 degrees must be bent to an angle of 165 degrees. When riveting dissimilar metals together, what precaution must be taken? Place a protective separator between the areas of potential electrical distance. When riveting the dissimilar metals together, what precaution must be taken to prevent an electrolytic action? Place a protective separator between the areas of potential electrical difference. Which of the following are generally characteristic of aramid fiber, Kevlar composites? High tensile strength and flexibility. Which of the following are generally characteristic of aramid fiber, Kevlar composites? High tensile strength and flexibility. How would the air pressure charge in the accumulator be determined if the engine is inoperative but the system still have hydraulic pressure? How would the air pressure charge in the accumulator be determined if the engine is inoperative but the system still has hydraulic pressure? Operate the hydraulic unit slowly and note the pressure at which a rapid pressure drop begins as it goes towards zero. Operate the hydraulic unit slowly and note the presence at which the rapid pressure begins to go towards zero. The cabin pressure control setting has a direct influence upon a cabin pressure operating setting has a direct influence upon the outflow valve opening. Before fueling the aircraft by using a pressure fueling method, what important precautions should be observed? The truck pump pressure must be correct for that refueling system. The truck pump pressure must be correct for that refueling system. What is the ventilating air used for on a combustion heater? What is the ventilating air used for on a combustion heater? It carries heat to the places where it's needed. What is the ventilated air used for on the combustion heater? It carries heat to the places where it's needed. Now, people, let's take a break. It's been like 32 minutes, 33 minutes. We're gonna save this and come right back to it later. Let's get this done together.